I figured I'd do another video looking at some of my gear, and I alluded to doing maybe an amp rundown at an earlier time, so I figured now I would just fire up the cameras and walk you through my amps. It's kind of late here, so I'm not really going to play through every single one of them, but if you've listened to the channel, if you've watched the videos, you kind of all know what these amps individually sound like. What you heard in the opening amp was my Pro Reverb, a 1964 Pro Reverb, modified by Cesar Diaz. Easily becoming one of my favorite amps. Really, really great. It's got a single 15, and Cesar basically made it into a Vibratone with some tight bass and extra treble, and it's just got that great. I'll just go down them all. I'll let you know what speakers I use, what tubes I use, what I like. And this is just my preference. You know, your mileage may vary. You may find a Deluxe Reverb that works for you. You may find a Marshall Club and Country or a Super Lead or a Super Bass Head. Those are great as well. You know, at the end of the day, and very cliche sounding, but it really matters what works for you, what works for your setup, and what makes you happy, and what inspires you to hunt tones and inspires you to play. It really doesn't matter what anybody else is using. You know, I mean, some of the people we can look up to, and you know, half of the people online can use, you know, one of those small Yamaha practice amps or a Micro Cube, and they just sound incredible. You know what I mean? So it's really just a testament of it's in the player, it's in the hands. Some tools that I enjoy, and you know, I really, really love this stuff. And the stuff that I have is, you know, I've bought and sold and tried them all, and this is what I've ended up with. My sound is very Reverb meets Marshall and Fender. Fender kind of cleans with the Marshall kind of grit and howl, but I just found what I've liked, and we'll get into it right now. I'll show you what amps I'm using. Yeah. All right, so checking out the amps. Like I said, that opening clip I was playing through this Fender Pro. It's a 1964. I bought it because it was modified by Cesar Diaz. Cesar Diaz is a well-known guitar tech to the stars. Stevie Ray Vaughan, Keith Richards, Bob Dylan, Charlie Sexton, G.E. Smith, all those guys. You know, Cesar has a great reputation for getting power and, you know, an organic feel out of these amps with his, you know, his kind of wild mods. He was a genius. He was a master chef. And, you know, some of those things can never be duplicated. And, you know, Cesar has passed away, and, you know, luckily, I think for all of us, he took a lot of those tricks with him. And, you know, I collect his stuff. I mean, here's an ultra rare square face. I'm a big Cesar Diaz fan, and I'll just give you a little explanation about this amp. I recently got this amp back from Tommy Cougar. Tommy handles all my amps. He's over in Sweden. You know, it does cost quite a bit to ship these amps over there, but If anybody's gonna know what I want something to sound like or fix something, it's gonna be Tommy. Small, minor stuff I don't mind, you know, taking care of. I can fix a capacitor if it blows, a resistor if something pops out. I can tube, I can bias, I can solder. But when it comes to, you know, handling preamp tone and tone stacks and you know, high voltages and balancing them out to sound right in an amplifier, I leave it to the pros. But this, like I said, this is Cesar Diaz. He basically converted this into a Vibratone. It had larger transformers in it when I purchased it. Had some really, really cool old school Phillips tubes. It had a solid state rectifier and an Alltech 15-inch speaker. No reverb, but Cesar built reverb into the amp on the normal side. He kind of made it all work. And it played really well. I actually took this amp on tour with Philip Sace when we did the East Coast run last year. And Philip played through this amp. It was really, really heavy. I had an EV speaker in there at the time. Now I have a JBL E130. I like the crispness in the top end of the JBL. Has that real... has some chime up top, and I really, really like that. But I sent it over to Tommy, and we made some transformer adjustments. And Tommy kind of just made sure everything was running well. And he put his own little, you know, just care package in there and just basically freshened it up. You know what I mean? It's been hit hard over the years, and Tommy just gave it a clean bill of health and kept it going. And it's slowly becoming one of my favorite amplifiers. I recently ordered a new reverb tank for it, just basically a super reverb style reverb tank. I don't know what the reverb tank in here that Cesar put in here, but it has a very short decay. And I kind of like that big wall of a decay. So, yeah, I got a new reverb tank coming, and, you know, that's my 1964 Fender Pro. So, moving right over here, we have the 65 Fender Deluxe Reverb. I bought this amp from my local friends over at Empire Guitars. I did a video on hunting this amp down. I was really looking for something around 25 watts that you could basically, you know, just crank it up on 7 or 8 and plug any guitar into it, whether it be a Les Paul Jr., an ES335, or a Strat. I still wanted the guitar's identity to come through to the amp, but I wanted something for smaller spots and maybe to, you know, just get a different kind of set of sounds. And this amp, although it is, yes, it's in the Blackface family, the Deluxe circuit is really, really cool because I feel as though when playing it, it kind of walks that fine line between a tweed and a Blackface. It kind of walks that fine line. And if you tube them properly and you get your bias in there right and you pick your proper preamp tube selection, you can really get these things moving. This amp surprisingly also came with a huge Alltech 12-inch speaker that I still have in there. Really, really like it. The only mods done to this amp were I lifted the bright cap, and that's it. I bought the amp. It already had a cap job to it, so it saved me money. I didn't have to do that. This amp's got great, great luscious reverb. And like I said, I've done videos on this so you can hear it on the channel. The 65 Blackface reverb unit also came from my friends over at Empire Guitar. And that's basically all it really is. It's just nothing really done to it. I think it got some coupling caps in there, but it's just an old reverb unit. I had a Fender Vibratone that I recently sold, and I was usually running that in conjunction with the Vibratone to give an amp some reverb. One thing I will say is I'm a huge reverb junkie, so I wanted to, you know, put something in there. And some, you know, some reverb pedals are great. I'm not knocking it. I just wanted the real thing. And that's what I bought that for. So I kind of don't need it as it is. Maybe that'll go up for sale soon. But, you know, there it is. Those are those two. The cab underneath, this cab right here is a 2-rock 410 cab that I got from my friend Dave McLaren. It's loaded with JBL speakers. It's a high-powered cab. And it's the semi-open back, so it's got some good thump to it. When I'm using the wood panel custom by Cougar head that I'll talk about shortly, I'm usually running it through that cab, and that's pretty much my tone. Very, very aggressive, very 1985 SRV, some chewy tones, but very bright and clear at the same time when you set the guitar up and the amp the right way. It's really, really exciting. So like I said, this is my wood panel custom by Cougar Motherhead. This was actually a Ramon Goose model that I bought from my friend Ramon Goose not too long ago. This and the wood panel head that Philip Sace had were the only two that I've seen like this with this kind of design. The only thing different between mine and Phillips is this one had, Tommy kind of rigged up some reverb in there. So this one does have reverb, whereas Phillips wood panel one didn't have reverb. I used 6550 tubes in this. That's what the amps are designed for. And this just has, I did a video on this actually. It's called A New Cougar in Town. And this amp just has the classic Texas Flood album tone. The cleans are incredible. And this is out of the Cougar amps, you know, a head style. I've had about 4 of them or 5 of them now, and this one is the one that has stayed. It's just got simplistic. It's nothing crazy, nothing high tech. It really responds well to tube placement. I really like to use the tongue saw 6550s in this. In all of my Fender amps, I like a Sylvania or Jan. And then when I can find them, I'll test drive some GE 6550s. Big fan of those. I like the Philips 7581s for the 6L6 stuff. And yeah, man, I'm a tube junkie. In conjunction to last week's video, I just love tubes. I love to collect tubes, and you know, it's a lot of fun for me, like on a weekend, to just open up an amp and tube swap and really explore your options. There's a lot can come from tubes, and a lot of tone can change from tubes, and I find that really inspiring, and it's intriguing to get in and find something, or find a tube that nobody knows about and test it out in a preamp spot and go, oh my god, this is my tone now, you know. Coming down over here, this is a build I did with Tommy. I think I actually have this amp sold, but I'll give you a little backstory. This amp started out as a King Tone console, basically a take on Tommy's Steel String Singer, and it was extremely harsh and bright and loud. So I sent it to Tommy, and I said, Tommy, this thing needs a little love. And we kind of designed a little circuit, some mods. So we basically have, you know, like a mother amp setting. We have a super reverb setting, and then we also have a King Tone console setting. It's really, really wild. This amp can also run on 6L6s, but it is a 6550 amp right now. Currently running a set of Sylvania 6550s. I added the Vox Grill cloth to kind of give it that Dumble look. But out of all the amps I have here, this amp is the loudest amp. This amp is, talk about rattling a wall. This amp is way too powerful for anything I'll ever need. But like I said, I think I have it sold to a good buddy, and he can find some use for it. It's just got the loudest, cleanest SRV, really, really clean Dumble tones, John Mayer type stuff. It's super, super clean. Before it leaves, I'll do a video on it so you guys can hear it. But this is just a powerful amp with huge transformers in it. You know what I mean? And obviously, you know, being that it's loud and powerful, no secret. Down below over here is my 68 Super Reverb, also modified by Tommy Cougar. This one received his enchilada mod and also his custom reverb tank he makes. The reverb can get a little crazy on you. I have it on 3 now because the tank he has designed, it can really sound like a wall of sound, a wall of reverb. And so I like it right about there. I run the reverb at about 3. This volume, usually about 6.5, 7 is where this amp really gets in the territory I like. And I've been finding myself using the bright switch up on this lately. Treble is at about 8. Middle is at about 9. And bass is about 3. Now, I can't really tell you the mods Tommy's done to it, because when you get involved with Tommy, it's kind of a respect thing, and it's his own product, his own design. So you're kind of sworn to a little bit of secrecy, and Tommy's a great friend. He's become a great friend, and I honor that. But if anybody wants to send Tommy an amp to have him mod it, you know, he can build you whatever you want. You just tell him the sound you're looking for. No pressure, but he's incredible. Also outfit this amp with some JBL speakers. I go back and forth between JBL and Eminence 10-inch, but this has JBL in it right now, which I think I'm gonna start hunting down some EV10s, because I have JBLs everywhere and I want to try the EVs in a Super Reverb. Also right next to that is my late 60s Fender Vibratone, seconding as a shelf right now for some of my stuff. I try not to use this too much in the house because you like to have it mic'd from both sides to get the real effect. But this Leslie cabinet has been modified to be direct in, so there's no crossover, nothing like that. It's just, you know, the out, or the speaker out of your head or your cabinet just plugs directly into the speaker of this. And I just kind of run this with an amp that's kind of bright to get those clean tones to come through. It's also modified with a JBL 12-inch speaker. Down there, under this mess, is an old basement cab. It was actually a single 15 Showman or basement cab that I modified to be a 212 cab, and that's loaded with two 12-inch EVs. So, I mean, you know, we have the late 60s Vibratone. We have the wood panel custom by Cougar head that is just the greatest Texas flood, kind of clean, but gritty, lush tones. You know what I mean? I love that Tommy Cougar head there. There's the super build that I did that's probably sold with the Vox grill cloth, and like I said, I'll do a video on that before it actually leaves. My super reverb, again, a really powerful amp modified by Tommy Cougar. I run that with a set of Philips STR 415s. I really like those. Over there we have the Deluxe Reverb with a set of Jan 6 V6s, and just some great preamp tubes in there. Keeps it fresh. Some stock reverb unit, and the Cesar Diaz modified Fender Pro. Very much like a Vibratone now with reverb. These amps didn't come with reverb, but they were modified by them. And Cesar was kind enough to write a little note inside there in 1990 when he modified the amp. It's just a great amp. I'm grateful to have the stuff I have. And yeah, there's the pedal board, and that's it. If you're watching the clips or you're watching, you know, the YouTube and you're hearing it, you're hearing one of these. Usually I'll make a note of it in the videos. I'll try to do a better job of that because sometimes I don't necessarily let you guys know what amp I'm playing through. As you can tell, I really love the high-powered speakers. I like the strong power tubes. That's a big thing with me. And I really like to work on the preamp section. I'm always, you know, swapping preamp tubes back and forth to kind of get that, you know, that really tight, like the tight bass. But I also want it to be crunchy at the same time, but I also want the bass to be tight, you know. And then I like so yeah, that's what I use. I'm gonna urge you guys to follow my socials this weekend. I'm taking a little bit of a trip, and hopefully I have some cool clips coming up. But yeah, I just want to give you guys some more content, and I appreciate everybody checking out the videos. Thanks for all the continued support. The giveaway video is coming very soon, amongst many more videos. So thanks, guys, for sticking in with me. Thanks for watching another video. I appreciate everybody. Have a good one. Peace.